Hi everyone and welcome back to Newegg TV. My name is Paul and today we have an unboxing and first look at this new video card from MSI. This video card is based on the new GPU from NVIDIA, the GTX 560 Ti, and this is an overclocked version we have here from MSI. So we're going to look at what comes in the box and also go over the specs and features that MSI has listed for this particular version of the GTX 560. Alright guys, so first a closer look at the box itself, and of course the full name of this card itself is the MSI N560 GTX Ti Twin Frozr II. And we have lots of logos to call out here. So from MSI you get a 3-year warranty. It is ready for 3D Mark 11, the newest version of the 3D Mark benchmarking utility, and they've also included a card in the box with a little passcode on it, so you can get 3D Mark, which is listed here as a $20 value, for free, and that's a downloadable little application. Also the MSI Afterburner operating system overclocking and monitoring utility. Of course, all the NVIDIA goodness that you get here, such as CUDA, SLI, Physics by NVIDIA, and 3D Vision. For the Twin Frozr cooler on the card, they're saying that you get a full 20 degrees cooler temperatures versus the stock versions of the card coolers. And they've also used military class components. This card has, it's the 1 gig version, it has 1024 megabytes of GDDR5 memory. And finally, as I just mentioned, the military class components. Around here on the back is most of all that stuff that was listed up on front, but with not quite as many logos and pictures. And for the specs of the card, we are using the GTX 560 Ti GPU. Again, 1 gig of GDDR5 memory, 256-bit memory bus, and for outputs we have 2 DVI and 1 mini HDMI. That's about all for the outside of the box. So let's see what you get once you get it open. Aha. No other goodies in there. Alright, so nicely packaged video card here. Little protective cover. Here is our protected video card. Before we look at that specifically, let's see what accessories you get here. You have 2 Molex, 2 single 6-pin PCI Express power connector. Another one of those. If you're using an older power supply that does not have PCI Express power connectors, make sure you have enough power to power this card, of course. Inside we have a CD that you probably should not use. Instead, download the latest drivers from the website. Here is a quick user's guide, which is nicely laid out with at least some color printing on there. Quick user's guide. Here is your card for 3D Mark 11 with a little scratch off code, so you can actually use 3D Mark 11. Here is a DVI to VGA adapter if you're using an older monitor with a VGA port. And finally here is a mini HDMI to standard HDMI adapter, and that's for the mini HDMI port on the back of the card. Oh, and cannot forget the actual product manual itself. So that is what comes in the box along with the card. And here's the card itself in its protective static-free packaging. All right. So there you can see the Twin Frozr heatsink that they have added on here. This is not a stock heatsink from the reference design. This is a special heatsink made up by MSI. It's done very well with other cards in the 400 series that they have applied it to. You'll notice it has 2 cooling fans there. On the back here you can see the video outputs that we have. Again, the 2 DVI. They're nice blue on the DVI there. And of course the tiny, tiny, tiny little mini HDMI there that fits with that adapter that you saw. All right. Now, MSI has been kind enough to provide me with a short list of features that they would like me to specifically mention for this card, which I'm going to get to as soon as I can remove all this plasticky stuff so you guys get a better look. Definitely a very nice finish on here. If you have a side window on your case, this card will look very pretty. This is, it looks like it's brushed metal, but I think that's more of a look than actual brushed metal. But it definitely has a nice little graphite tone there to the finish. It looks very mean and burly, and then like it would be really fast, and you can see the exposed heat pipes there at the bottom. But I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, now This is an overclocked version of this card. The stock core clock for the GTX 560 Ti GPU is 822 megahertz, and MSI has pushed the core clock up to 880 megahertz for this version. Stock shader clock is usually 1645 megahertz, and MSI has pushed it up to 1760, which is more than a 100 megahertz bump up in speed for the shader clock. Memory effective clock speed for the reference design is 4008 megahertz, and they have pushed it up to 4200 megahertz, another nice speed bump for the memory. Cooling solution, as mentioned, they're saying that it will actually perform 20 degrees cooler than the stock cooler on typical GTX 560 Ti's. Dual, these are 80 millimeter PWM fans on the cooler itself. The cooler, which you can't really see, but it's right under there, has a nickel-plated base to aid with heat dispersion and transference. Also, they're mentioning this super pipe technology that they have here. I don't know how close you can get on that, the heat pipes themselves, but there's two widths for that. There's a thicker one that's 8 millimeter and a thinner one that is 6 millimeter, and that is, again, for enhanced cooling. And this is an all-in-one heatsink, which covers your VRAM, which is over here, as well as the GPU, and just to provide more effective cooling. And finally, the edge, which they're telling me that the edge is reinforced along the card to prevent warping. I'm guessing specifically if you're running an SLI setup and you have multiple cards, they've just added a little bit of reinforcement here to the PCB, so if you have a lot of weight on the card itself, you're not going to get much warpage there. And then finally, I mentioned on the front of the box itself, military class 2 components, caps, all solid caps. And that's just a testament to the quality of work and the components that they've chosen to put together this GTX 560 Ti. Also, don't want to forget that right here we have our power plugs. These are both PCI power that will come from your power supply, and those are each 6 pins. So that's your necessary power adapters that are required to get this card powered up and running. And that is pretty much all I can tell you for right now without plugging this card in and firing it up, which I promise I will be doing as soon as possible. But for now, this has been our unboxing and first look at the MSI Twin Frozr II version of the GTX 560 Ti made by NVIDIA, well, GPU made by NVIDIA, video card assembled by MSI. I'm Paul with Newegg TV. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.